Hello all, welcome back to Kalam IAS Academy. This is Priyanka Mahapatra, faculty at Kalam IAS for essay. So today we'll be taking up a detailed analysis of a topic of yesterday's paper, essay paper 2024, and the topic is nearly all men can stand adversity, but to test their character give him power. This is topic number 6 of section B. So, what do you understand by this topic? It says that in adverse situations, in challenging times, it is very difficult to judge a person's character. Why it is so? Because that person is concerned about his survival in the challenging times. He is more concerned about his bread and butter that time. So, we cannot really judge the character of a person. But when the person is given enough privilege or authority, then the power can be tempting and where he can tend to act unethically or he can behave in a harmful way. So that's why it is said that power is a corrupter. That means when a person is given enough power, and there we can reveal a person's true nature. Okay, and as I said, then when the person will be given enough authority or privilege, then he might choose to abuse that position or engage in unethical or harmful behavior. But there are many situations where a person chooses to be ethical, chooses to be responsible, so he will not be succumbed by the power. He will not be driven by the temptations of power, but he will choose to act ethically and responsibly. So, character is a choice there. Okay, so it is said that if you want to test a man's character, give him power, right? So, we come to the first dimension of the essay, that why it is difficult to test a character when one person is in adversity or given no power. As I said, that the person is more concerned about the survival. If somebody is poor and powerless, he will only think about his survival, he will only think about his bread and butter, and there it is very difficult to understand their character because he has no choice there. He has no capacity, no capability to do anything wrong, right? Second is the circumstances. The external circumstances always influences the behavior. So one person may act ethically in one situation but succumb to temptation of power in another. And in different situation a person can act very differently, because without power, that's imagine a situation that without power in a situation, the same person will act very differently due to the fear of punishment, due to fear of legal consequences, or he or she must be lacking courage, so he or she will act very ethically. For example, a common man, he is fearful of legal consequences. He will always pay tax on time due to fear of law. But people who are having enough political and economic power, they will find all the ways to evade taxes by exploiting the loopholes of the law. So this is a very classic example where under various circumstances people will act very differently. Okay, then the nature can be very hypocrite type. People may act very differently in private space and they act very differently in the public space. When they are not in the position of power, they may avoid being in risky or unethical behavior. So it's very difficult to test our character when we are not given any power or we are in challenging times. Understood? Then you will come to the main justification of the topic. You will show both the types of people. You will show the examples of exceptional character where they have not succumbed to the temptation of power. You will take the example of Nelson Mandela and how he had faced adversity. See, here you have to justify many parts of the essay. Here you have to justify the adversity part, that in spite of adverse situations, how somebody with power had shown good character. Okay, Nelson Mandela being a classic example. So, when he was under the decades of imprisonment, oppression, he was in adverse situation, but he tried to maintain his commitment to non-violence and reconciliation. He forgave his captors. He had all the power to take revenge, but he did not do that because of his commitment to non-violence. So he played a very crucial role in ending the apartheid in South Africa, or unifying the South Africa, and fostering a peaceful transition to democracy. Again, you can take example of Mahatma Gandhi, how he was under adverse situations, how he was in challenging times, the most challenging times during the independence movement, but he showed his unwavering commitment to non-violence, and that inspired millions of people to peaceful resistance. Okay, then you can also take example of Winston Churchill. So that's how you can take diverse examples, some of the international examples, personalities, and some of Indian examples. Okay, that's how you can make your examples diverse. Again, you should be taking positive examples and negative examples as well. Okay, here we are talking of the positive examples, where under adverse situation the personalities have shown exceptional character. They have chosen to be ethical, they have chosen to be responsible. Okay, so here coming to Winston Churchill, okay, again his leadership qualities were exceptional because he was determined to show courage. Okay, he had unwavering belief in the allied power causes, and that inspired millions and helped rally the British people against the Nazi Germany. Okay, so that's how you can take various examples. Here you can take of various IAS officers where they have got all the power in the world, and they are not expecting any reciprocity. They are not expecting any reciprocity from their customers or their citizens while helping. An ICE officer who is going out of his or her way to help the poor in a flooded village. Okay, you can take the name of various ICE officers in Wayanad's landslide. That's how you can relate the current affairs to your content of your essay. And therefore, the motto of Labasna being Sheelam Param Bhushanam, that means character is the utmost virtue. So you can take the help of quotations in order to justify your argument, in order to supplement your examples. Right? Then you can talk of the greatest personality of times, that is Abdul Kalam, and how he was all the powerful, but that did not become a reason to show any bad behavior to his subordinates or the powerless people. So he always treated his subordinates in a very kind way, in a very respectful way. So Abdul Kalam always showed respect to his colleagues no matter what position he was in. That is why he was known as People's President. He was admired for his humility, for his accessibility and dedication to public service. Right? Then we come to the negative examples. We will show that how various personalities across time, okay, they have succumbed to power. You can take the examples of various dictators across the world. Okay, Napoleon Bonaparte. As soon as he came to power, he waged a war that engulfed the whole of Europe, and that showed his self and aggrandizement character. Then you can take the help of quotation, that how famous military general Pittacus said, the measure of a man is what he does with power. That means he can use power either for his self interest or for the welfare of the society. Okay, you can take example of Adolf Hitler, who is known one of the greatest leaders in history. But when he came to power, though legally, but he misused his power to kill the Jews, captive the Jews in detention camps. For that matter, you can take the example of North Korea, Pervez Musharraf, Saddam Hussein. Okay, they have faced adversities, lot of challenges, but now when they are in power, when they came to power, they did not use their power judiciously or for the welfare of the people. You can take the example of Julius Caesar also, where he was a brilliant military leader and statesman, but his desire for power, his greed for power ultimately led to his downfall, and that made or marked the end of Roman Republic. You can take the example of Richard Nixon. Do you remember him in the context of Watergate scandal, which led to his resignation? So he abused his power. He showed disregard for the rule of law, and that demonstrated the dangers of unchecked authority. Then you can also tell about that how the character changes after attaining power under the context of Me Too campaign. Okay, the Me Too campaign also exposed various immoral deeds of the top celebrities and powerful person who have, of course, built their careers from very scratch. They have also faced adversities, but now when they came to power, when they had lot of money, okay, there are many politicians and leaders like that, bureaucrats, where they have seen many challenges in their life, but when they came to power, when they wielded a lot of economic power, then they showed their true character. So power inevitably changes people, sometimes for the better and sometimes for the worse. Only wise men who value their virtues more than the power, they can withstand the invisible pressures of power. But people who are lacking in character, they will change their virtues when they come to power. They will value their power more, their status more than their character. Okay, so they will forget that what made them. Instead, they will focus that what they need. Okay, they will be under the greed of power. They will only think about their financial interests, what they need. Okay, so here you can talk of the Me Too campaign, how it had exposed the immoral deeds of the top celebrities. Okay, self-proclaimed godmen who come from very humble background. They must have faced a lot of adversities in life, but that has faded away because of their immoral acts. So the ability to remain same before and after success is the real test of character. Okay, so in that way you can conclude. Then you can talk of the psychological perspective also. What psychological factors that influence that how people will respond to power. You can talk of the narcissist individuals, how they are more concerned about their self-esteem, sense of entitlement. You can talk of America. That's how you can give a global view to your essay. You can talk of various international examples. You can talk of the kingdoms and countries, how they misuse their power because of their ego, because of their narcissist nature. Okay, so you can talk of America, who is one of the greatest powers in the world. They threw nuclear bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan to only fuel their ego and to remain a unipolar power. But again, on the other hand, empathy, where individuals are having a high value of empathy, they might have less tendency to abuse power. Okay, because they are more likely to consider the needs and perspectives of others because they're empathetic. The nature is empathetic. So that's how you can bring a psychological perspective. Here you can also talk of the cultural norms, how cultural norms and values in various societies can shape how people perceive and respond to power. Some cultures may emphasize collectivism and humility, and some they may prioritize the individualism and achievement. Okay, you can talk of accountability also. So here, when a person is less under any supervision, or he might think that he will be less likely to be held accountable for his actions, so he will abuse his power more. So when there is a chance then that he will not get caught when he is committing that mistake or crime, then he is likely to more abuse the power because he has got no fear to get criticized, no fear to get punished. Okay, this aspect also you can discuss. Then comes the counter argument. You will counter the whole thesis here, that is power the only way to test one's character, or there are other ways to test one character. Power is not the only way to test character. You can talk of the ethical perspective over here. So whenever you get chance, talk of the ethical perspective in your essay. You can talk of the various ethical dilemmas and how it defines that how a person will respond in that situation, and that reveals his underlying priorities or value system. Okay, you can take the example of a friend or family member who says you very secretly or confides in you about a serious wrongdoing. Now it is upon you. It's a ethical dilemma for you whether to maintain loyalty to your friend or family member for that matter, or to report the wrongdoing to the authorities. Okay, so it will showcase your character, that how you're responding in that situation, in that ethical dilemma. For that matter, whistleblower dilemma. When a person discovers some unethical or illegal practices within their organization, so here the real character will come up, where uh, in what way you are responding to that dilemma. What is that dilemma? Whether to report the wrongdoing, potentially risking your job or career, or you should be remaining silent. So that's how these ethical dilemmas can be a test to your character, not only power. Then you will tell about that the ultimate aim is to prevent the abuse of power and create a just and equitable society. This is your way forward. Okay, so the ultimate aim is to have a just and equitable society and prevent the abuse of power, and how that can be achieved by carefully selecting your leaders, by taking up psychological assessments, background checks. Here you can talk of criminalization of politics in the current context, because leaders who are free from any prejudice or discrimination are more likely to promote social justice and equality. Okay, then you should be also implementing various checks and balances. You should be actually following the separation of powers, independent oversight bodies. There should be mechanisms of accountability. Okay, then you can also promote ethical training. You can make the leaders or the officials understand about the responsibilities. At the same time, they should understand the limitations of their position, right? So this is how you will come up with the way forward with some value perspective. Okay, then to the conclusion, that how one should not forget about his or her roots of origin. You can take help of a quotation over here. If wealth is lost, nothing is lost. Health is lost, something is lost. Character is lost, everything is lost. So be it any situation, we should not dilute our core values based upon which our personalities are built. Okay, people with empathy, honesty, integrity, optimism, they can withstand all the power and adversities and sustain their character for all times. You can take the reference of Abdul Kalam over here. Okay, so when you have a purpose in life, and you should not be altering that purpose in life with change in situation or change in power status, that's how you can remain the same in all situation, whether you are in under unlimited power or not. Okay, if your character does not change with position, we will always shine, as seen in the case of great Abdul Kalam. Else we may shine initially but will fade in no time. So this is how your conclusion should be. In the conclusion, you should be adding one quotation or poem if you know. You can take reference of some personalities in the anecdote. Okay, if you would have taken the help of anecdote based introduction, then you can refer back over here. Okay, so this is how your essay should be. We have discussed everything. These are the quotations which you can take help of. The measure of a man is what he does with power, by Plato. Power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Okay, by Acton. Then we are not just products of our past. People in our present also influence us and help mold our character. Mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself is true power. Knowledge will give you power, but character respect. This is also a very important quotation which can come in your exam. Okay, this particular topic appeared in our test series, in this year test series. You can check that. Okay, we had always conviction that this topic can appear in UPSC anytime, and this has appeared this time mainly because of the current affairs. Okay, because of the infamous Pooja Khedkar case. So that's how this topic got inspiration. Okay, so we will be coming up with another detailed analysis very soon. Stay tuned to our channel. Thank you so much.